The deeper and deeper I go, I find what it is I should know. 'Cause it's just a matter of time that you'll reawaken your mind. Oh, come with me, come to know and find out what is true. Then you'll know what's in store just for you. No more living a lie. I can look to the sky and say, I'm reawakening minds. Come to know and find out what is truth, yes. Then you'll know what's in store just for you. No more living a lie. I can look to the sky and say, I'm reawakening minds.
Happy Holy Day, Moors, and welcome to House of Reawakening Minds. I'm Dr. G, and I'm glad that you're with us. House of Reawakening Minds exists to provide for exploration and practice of spirituality in an enlightened community dedicated to honoring the myriad of sacred pathways to the universal creator. We are a holistic center for spiritual grounding, free thought, self-discovery, and Moorish science, an awakening experience for all ages. Tonight, we are glad that in spite of what's going on, that we are able to connect with you, our faithful viewers. And tonight we have with us our brothers, Abdullah El Talib Mosi Bey and Shem Malachi Bey. Let's welcome them.
Yes, welcome everyone. Thank you for having us once again. And we're happy to be able to present to you tonight's topic, the importance of developing an interpolitical governing body. We're going to be discussing what that looks like and how that can be facilitated. So Shem and I will be, tag teaming off each other with that. We have several excerpts from several documents that we'll be reading from. All right. The first of which is the claiming our Moorish state through an interpolitical governing body. The United Republic of Morocco is the assembly vehicle used to navigate the various Moorish body politic states into one interpolitical central body, restoring our Moroccan imperial government structure and therefore positioning ourselves politically to function the sovereign power once controlled by the past Moroccan Moorish emperors. This is my words of a national caucus pursuant to the past structure of ancient government operation. A national caucus pertaining to our Moorish Moroccan government structure is of more than one Moorish political body coming together to form a central body composed of many Moorish body politics among ourselves to be recognized as sovereigns in the Moroccan Moorish Empire Dominion. An interpolitical constitution will be formed from our Moorish political states by sending up representatives elected by the Moorish Moroccan people or by a supreme authority who will, exercised collectively the sovereign power and authority that the Moorish Day, Bay, indigenous Aboriginal people operated in the unity with emperors, sultans once exercised before the dismantling of our Moorish government and the usurpation of our Moorish national sovereignty. When the sovereign power of an empire or kingdom that ruled over a host of kingdoms and their territorial domicile is diminished, the kingdoms, nations resort to self-determination and autonomy power among themselves. When the Moorish emperors relinquished their sovereign power over the Moorish kingdoms and their domiciles they once conquered and controlled, we, the Moors, have the right to govern ourselves and form an interpolitical assembly caucus with an interpolitical constitution that would act or take the place of the sovereign power that the Moroccan Moorish emperor once controlled or claimed. The interpolitical constitution will be the structured governmental body that regulates authority over all the Moorish political body politic states by the structured language in the interpolitical structure instrument. All right. The caucus seal. The seal is the symbol that shows our political states coming together to form an interpolitical council under the Moroccan Empire flag. And the seal will give notice to the political states of the international world governments that we, the Moors, are all a part of the Moroccan Empire pursuant to blood pedigree DNA title rights. So we wanted to set the tone by reading this interpolitical purpose statement and the importance of facilitating such a task. This task began with Noah Dwali in setting this 1913 when they established the old Canaanite temple. This was his plan. It had not been fulfilled. He went to the Pan American Conference in 1928 to represent all of us to the world body politics, political bodies. Now, we here, 2020, have a grand opportunity to continue the legacy that Drew Ali set to restore, not to establish, to restore the Moroccan Empire, not to establish. Let me make that clear. So I want to, so we'll have, Shem, you have any comments regarding, before we continue?
The letter itself, the document that he just read makes it plain and clear. As a matter of fact, this letter was not put together based on what Abdul felt or what I felt. It was based on Abdul saying, give me something sound that we can go back to. So we can look back to jurisprudence and positive law and say, when we go and start this international assembly caucus, it's for the benefit of helping all the Moors come back to claim their nations, their regions and political organizations and civics, practice to do civics among us, ourselves. I went back and I looked at how our ancestors did commerce among themselves. And I went back to the ancient scriptures and I went back to ancient laws. I went back to our people. I didn't consider the opinion of somebody's now, speaking now, or school of thought, because that doesn't mean anything to me, because you're not going back to old principles and facts, then it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. And this is why I love Noble's here for, because, you know, he's not taking a wooden nickel. He's not taking a wooden nickel. He can't afford to take a wooden nickel, because that don't spin. Wood is to use for building things and sitting on. So we're going to spend real value, real substance. That's real jurisprudence and norms, real norms, facts of law dealing with land, air, water. Now, it's a known fact that the United States, I use the United States of North America because they look back into the science and structure and remedies that we were doing, our ancestors were doing, our mothers, foremothers, and forefathers. And Benjamin Franklin consulted them and paid them to come up with this system, a structure and system that they can operate on and be assembled together in unity and not be disassembled. So if the United States requested and demand to be consulted and instructed and followed and built all the Republican Democratic principles after a constitution of our ancient foremothers and forefathers, when the kings and chiefs of these nations, not tribes, because a nation is a host of tribes. So if they came together from their sovereign power and delegated authority to their lords to meet together and create a fire council, then that's what I'm doing. I'm not doing nothing else. I'm sorry. I can't go no other way. I don't know how to go another way. Like I told Minister Abdul, when I first was doing this with a group of people, I myself restricted myself based on the ancient principles of these laws, of these structures and remedies and systems, which made me throw on brakes, and then made my spiritual leader told me that you can't do it by yourself. Now, if that was divinely revealed to me, then I knew I had to stop. I couldn't go no further. There have to be someone else come with that science and knowledge, that you have to come from a political or a nation, a body of people that have a structured system. Here you go, sit right here beside me. And for us to go any kind of other way would be a fraud to us. I don't know that I go another way, but the way they did it. Even the sultans in the days and bays had a government structure set up where they delegated authority. Ain't nobody running around an individual delegate say, we're going to do this. It doesn't work that way. I'm sorry. But sometimes we don't know something. We be afraid. We have to now just learn, open our minds up, take it in, embrace it, and do. That's it. So this goes out to the Moors. This thing is, let me explain something to you. I'm going to talk about some real science tonight. And please, I got to point to these examples to let you see. If you read inside the scriptures in the Old Testament, in the Torah, you see how the emperors, even Pharaoh, gave the prophet authority to bind his senators, his presidents, his prime minister. So this old system of government delegating authority to build an administrative government, which is a republic under the crown or under an emperor or empress, already existed in the Phoenicians and in Egypt. This is nothing new. We just don't know what's going on. So we have to, when someone comes, the cosmos sends someone come to get us back together. Now, let me say something. I'm not going to force this on nobody. You can't force a right on somebody. They have to accept the right. They have to take it in, and they have to accept it and claim it. You're not going to get any inheritance from your father. I don't think you don't know that a house is left to you, or that was your mother house or your aunt house. You automatically want to claim that house because there's a reasonable, listen to me, a common reason in you to know that something, you have a right to something if it comes from your lineage. That's a common reason, right? Now, if you're going to do that, then why can't you claim your Moorish pedigree? Now, it don't take nobody to know. Oh, my father left me a will. He left me all his land, all his money. Well, then if you claim it, that's an inheritance. If you live in somewhere in another part of this continent and your father died and you don't know you have this, I'm gonna explain something, I'm gonna show y'all more something. Please listen to me today. When you find that out in that state, and all that land, with 1,500 acres and all that wealth, is in probate. We have guardian got it. The first thing you step up and do is make your stake to your claim that that's my father, that's my mother, my grandmother. Don't tell me you ain't gonna do that. You do, you know you're gonna do that. Now, what makes you do that? Nobody taught you that. That's a damn common reason inside of anybody. The claim was they consider theirs. Like claim was your forefathers and foremothers got. This is all our land. We on this damn land being killed, brainwashed, children dying. Come on now. This is for real. And we got our own people out here brainwashed, help killing us. Damn, ain't nobody else in the world worse shape than we is. And we can't come together on a common fact. A sound, balanced fact. Listen, Moors, get your act together. Deal with your ways. I'm dealing with mine. He's dealing with his. We set the record straight. We're going to do this. This going for all these Moors in the United Kingdom, down in Africa. Listen to me. Get into these treaties, because that's why the French descendants of French and Spain went down and claimed a part of Africa as the French and Spanish zone and created an empire based on the treaty rights. And here we is in North America. This ain't Morocco. This ain't Morocco right here. You hit your head and fell. You got brain damage. Yes, it is. You brain damage. I'm gonna tell you the brain damage is fraud philosophy. You the prostitute, the one that taught you is the trick. Y'all playing the same game they played in the street. The prostitute and the trick. You go to the college, they use you like a prostitute. Then they're the trick. They're getting paid to make sure that you get taught this fraud. Now you become unconscious while you living. That's called a living dead. You dead because you dead to the cosmos, because you don't know you got an existence of divinity and consciousness inside of you. You don't even invoke that. You don't invoke it and to make a claim. What God gonna do for you? You ain't invoking nothing. Get out of here. Come on, I'm gonna wake you up with the day. We're gonna set this record straight. I don't care if y'all don't like me. I'm talking to all the ones out here talking about I got this, or I've been doing this been around. Listen, stop it, stop talking, and let's do something. That's all they come down to. We love you, love us. Let's come together. If you don't want to come together, then at least be a political power organization. Listen, how can I set myself up? How can I operate? I'm not sure if I'm going to come under an umbrella. I can understand that. But do something for the people in your region, your territory. They're using us as merchandise for the wound. These people, listen to me. These people are doing legalized slavery. The moment we have sex, they already tagging us as a product. As a product. A surety. Stock. Cattle. Keep it real. Now, if we're going to do this, we got to lay aside all our differences. The first thing we got to do is start coming back to the piety of our clan or of our band or house. What I mean is that you had different clans and tribes had different deity. Let me explain what they had the same, piety. Because in piety deal with commerce, economics, and civics. That's in piety. Yes, it is. And Noble Drew Ali did not get a chance to establish that. But what he did was he knew that the first power of anything existing on earth come from the cosmos. And that's through the spirituality and divinity. He knew that. And that's why he did a constitution only for spiritualism, for his people that follow him after the tradition of Prophet Muhammad. He did that. That's what he locked down first. And then he started trying to do the civics. Because civics mean now he got to create another organization to deal with the diversity of what? People, indigenous Moors, that's claiming different religions and spirituality. but need to come together and do that, operate that, and practice that in their society as a private nation, but create a political organization to deal with one another through civics. Come on now. It ain't about being better than somebody or being ahead of something. It's about doing something and doing it after the structure that was set before us. Now, I'm going to let Abdul read the preface of the Constitution of the 5 civilized nations. Now, what's going on is, I got over here. Now, there's a lot of times I get frustrated, and I'm gonna tell you why. Forgive me, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I get frustrated, Morris, because Abdul is the one that's like my patience. And sometimes he tell me, listen, Shim, you have to stop doing that because everybody is not at that level yet. And how you going to turn around and be angry, hold something against somebody when they don't know and they're under fear? They under constant fear, they scared, and here you is coming along with a little anger and through your frustration, you're not manifesting the proper attributes to deal with the people. They know what I become now. I become a stumbling block to what I'm working at. I mean, because the things that I'm building up, the things that I tear down, talking about is wrong, I'm building it up again. That makes me a transgressor to what I'm talking about. And that's why dealing with the righteousness inside of me, I catch myself and straighten myself out. That's a lot of y'all have to do out there. I'm telling you, it's hard. It's hard. But we have to do it. We don't have a choice. What I'm going to do, where I'm going to go at. I'm not looking to go down into the corner of East Central Africa, which is called where the Kingdom of Morocco at, because my blood pedigree didn't come from there, but they have the same blood pedigree we got. And that's what I'm saying. I'm claiming with the seated government in this side of where my ancestors, which came over from the land of Phoenician, was Hittites. They crossed over, they're Hebrew, crossed over people. So was Moab. Moab, Israel, and even Edom, which is now called York, they crossed over too. So there ain't no difference. So the Albions trying to run around here, they got Moorish pedigree blood in them. Let me tell you what they're doing, why they got structure. You see, these Albions are going back looking at our history, our ancestors' history, and they consciously making a claim. See, when you follow the example of someone and you do like them and you claim their knowledge and their inheritance, that makes you such as an adoption. You adopted them as your parents. And consciously, you're not telling anybody openly, but consciously you claim to be of their blood, being of them, and you're just hiding it. But through actions, we can see it. The United States. See, you got to catch what's going on here. And here we is not even consciously actions doing anything. So we are now doing something. We're moving in that direction. You can't get nowhere unless you move. And what I mean is, they've been talking about time travel. That's inside of us. Divinity. That's in you already. The moment you think in your mind. That's why the book says, well, show me you think, you is, you that. What's a man thinking, so is he. What do you think he's talking about? If I say 8 o'clock tomorrow, I'm going to be in the market before everybody get there, do you know what I just did? I just programmed my divinity that my divinity is going to move this vessel, this prayer, to a destination that haven't even got here yet the next day. It's inside, that's why they're studying us. Got us all trapped up. We don't understand the divinity that's in us. Come on now. Ain't nothing but love. Listen, just go for South of Mexico. If you're down in South of Mexico, America, just go for South of North America and the Americas, and Africa, Northwest Africa, Mexico. Just go for your United Kingdom and Europe, Asia, and you go for you down in Africa or you in the Kingdom of Morocco. Let me say something to you. The people down in Africa, they have the same blood pedigree we have. You know what's happening? You let someone tell you how to make your inheritance. It's like you got a inheritance and somebody gonna tell you, well, I'm coming from it. If you're gonna claim your inheritance, first let me check and see if you relate. The only thing gets you the inheritance first is make the claim to be what blood related to the party. Remember, blood pedigree come first. Then you claim to have the person family, which called this to them is a servant name, but it's a lineage name. So you say I'm of that lineage. But yes, now if you say, well, I don't have that lineage name, but I am of that blood pedigree, and you come with that, then nobody can refute you. The only one that can refute your claim is someone of the same blood pedigree and have the same inherent rights you got. Anybody else outside, I can't say a damn thing, no government, nobody. That's real as it can be. Come on now. Don't let them steal out. This is like Martin Luther King say, don't let them steal your manhood. I'm gonna play that before the sentence out. I'm gonna let you hear Martin Luther King's last speech before they talk about killing him. And I want you to hear what this man talk. This man was talking about what Noble Drew Ali was doing. See, when they tell you they're gonna hurt you, get you out of here, you got to tell the truth, forced to tell the truth sometimes. And it sounds like a man saying, take a pen, reach in the inner part of yourself and proclaim with an ink of pen. Let's talk about your divinity, your vote. Let's talk about let's talk about what God put in you to breath. The God that puts it in you, the life. No one's reading this.
I'll tell you what, let me, I'll do this when you come back. I'm gonna read some. Make the call. All right, he had, at 7 o'clock, an hour ago, he had, it was an emergency scheduled meeting. He's been working on a project. He's been working, this is ongoing work. It's an emergency meeting he had, it's unplanned. So he's gonna be going for 15 minutes. In the meantime, we're gonna continue. All right, so I'm going to continue with, I'm going to read self-determination. This is, what is self-determination? This is from the Unrepresented Nations and People Organization, UNPO, Unrepresented Nation and People Organization.org. What is self-determination? This is something we've actually passed. This is a list of questions and answers. Essentially, the right to self-determination is the right of people. I'm going to try to do if I can look directly into the camera as I'm doing this time. All right, let me do it this way so I can look into the camera. Essentially, the right to self-determination is the right of a people to determine its own destiny. In particular, the principle allows a people to choose its own political status. Excuse me for a minute. Okay. Mama? What is self-determination? Essentially, the right to self-determination is the right of a people to determine its own destiny. In particular, the principle allows a people to choose its own political status and to determine its own form of economic, cultural, and social development. Exercise of this right can result in a variety of different outcomes ranging from political independence through to full integration within a state. The importance lies in the right of choice, so that the outcome of a people's choice should not affect the existence of the right to make a choice. In practice, however, the possible outcome of an exercise of self-determination will often determine the attitude of government towards the actual claim by a people or nation. Thus, while claims to cultural autonomy may be more readily recognized by states, claims to independence are more likely to be rejected by them. Nevertheless, the right to self-determination is recognized in international law as a right of process, not of outcome, belonging to peoples and not to states or governments. All right. The inherent power is in us. Along with rights, the self-determination is political legitimacy. So I'm going to tie political legitimacy and self-determination. We the Moors must demonstrate to the world community principles of self-determination and political legitimacy. And what does that mean? We must show through a political process, the free will of the people. And how is the free will of the people exercised? And how can we demonstrate or show to the world body the free and exercised will of the people? We talked about various Moorish body politics that are already that have been in formation for several years. Those are being formed, must show the exercise of the voice of the people through elections, open elections, free and open elections, through a regional or local constitution, through a process of, voting elections and having a role of your nationals and showing a process of free will and exercise voting and participation. So self-determination and political legitimacy are paramount, where there can't be a force, where the political process can't be forced onto the people. The people must have a free will participation. So political legitimacy and self-determination is very important. So let's continue here. With the self-determination. The preferred outcome of an exercise of the right to self-determination varies greatly among the members of the UNPO, who are some of our members, such as Tibet, Boris Stavis, Kibayala. The only acceptance outcome is full political independence. This is particularly true of occupied or colonized nations. For others, such as our members from West Balochistan, the goal is a degree of political, cultural, and economic autonomy, sometimes in the form of a federal relationship. For others yet, the right to live on and manage a people's tradition, land free of external interference and incursion in the existence aim of a struggle for self-determination. What is self-determination in international law? The principle of self-determination is predominantly embodied in Article 1 of the Charter of the United Nations. Earlier, it was explicitly embraced by U.S. President Woodrow Wilson, quoting, by Lenin and others, and became the guiding principle for the reconstruction of Europe following the World War I. The principle was incorporated into the 1941 Atlantic Charter and the Dunbarton Oaks Proposal, which evolved into the United Nations Charter. Its inclusion in the UN Charter marks the universal recognition of the principle as fundamental to the maintenance of friendly relations and peace among states. It is recognized as a right of all peoples in the first article common to the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights and the International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights, which both entered into force in 1976. Paragraph 1 of this article provides, all peoples have the right to self-determination. By virtue of that right, they freely determine their political status and freely pursue their economic, social, and cultural development. The right to self-determination of peoples is recognized in many other international and regional instruments, including the Declaration of Peoples of International Law concerning friendly relations and cooperation among states, adopted by the UN General Assembly in 1970. 2. The Helsinki Final Act, adopted by the Conference on Security and Cooperation in Europe in 1975. 3. The African Charter of Human and People's Rights of 1981. 4. The CSCE Charter of Paris for a New Europe, adopted in 1990. 5. The Vienna Declaration and Program of Action of 1993. 6. It has been affirmed by the International Court of Justice in Namibia case. 7. West Sahara case. 8. East Timor case. 9. In which it ergo omnes charter was confirmed. Furthermore, the scope and content of the right to self-determination has been elaborated upon the UN Human Rights Committee. 10. And the Committee on the Elimination of Racial Discrimination. 11. The numerous leading international jurists. All right, so Drew Ali, in 1916, Drew Ali established to continue moving towards this demonstration and exercise and showing the world body self-determination and political legitimacy among us. Drew Ali widened the scope when he established the Moorish Divine National Movement in 1916. So when establishing the more, he widened the scope so you can see Drew Ali incrementally developing and expanding, starting off in 1913, as I said earlier, with the OK-9 Temple, and beginning that process of restoring. Now, there's been the restoring the national sovereignty of our people. There's been a misconception in most of those who are members of various Moorish science temples. That misconception is that Drew Ali started a nation somewhere, that he is the starting point. And there's something my question is to those who think that, Why do you think that? How did you come to think that? In the divine warning, duality is go back to that state of mind of our ancient foremothers and forefathers. So duality did not say he started, that he established a nation, that he's the first. He said, go back to that state of mind, the Jewish prudence. Go back to the established, well-established laws, customs, and rituals, holidays, ceremonies, headdresses, titles of our ancestors. So go back to that state of mind. So we're not in that state of mind because of apartheid and social engineering. So go back to that which preceded me, Moors. Why do those in the temples start with Juali? Juali didn't start with Juali. When Juali said go back to that state of mind of our ancient foremothers and forefathers, Juali did not start with Juali. Juali is not the starting point. Juali never measured himself as the starting point. So once again, why do Moors in the Moor Science Temple are positioning Juali as the starting point when he himself did not position himself as the starting point? Juali did not establish the Moorish fast, nor did he ever claim to establish the Moorish fast. Juali never established the turban, nor did he claim to establish the turban. Juali didn't develop the Moorish flag, the 5-pointed star, green star in the middle, nor did he claim to have done that. Juali did not make up the nationality Moor, nor did he claim to do that. But why those in the temple are misrepresenting Juali as the starting point? It's been said that those in the temple, if those in the temple have said that in order to be a Moor, you have to be a member of the temple. Juali is not the starting point. Juali restored. Juali went back to ancient settled principles of Jewish prudence. He unearthed that which was buried and put us on the right track of thinking. I can just get y'all thinking again. So, self-determination. I'm going to read excerpts from the letter of political legitimacy, and I'm going to explain that. Right. I'm gonna read here. We got the letter of political legitimacy. I'll read excerpts of that, and then I'll explain it. Letter of political legitimacy. Trying to just continue with that screen here. The purpose of the letter of political legitimacy: facilitating the divine free will of the people through voluntary participation, guided by divine providence and Daouti. The modern word for Daouti is Jew. Facilitating the political process from caucus to provisional constitution and government to permanent constitution and government. Facilitating political liberty and independence from the kingship, the descendants, offsprings, and heirs of the pedigree DNA blood lineage of our ancient ancestors. The letter of political legitimacy serves as a political declaration to the international community and to the Moors that the United Republic of Morocco is establishing self-government among the Moors by facilitating the divine free will of the people through voluntary participation guided by divine providence and Daoudi. Due to European nations, Spain, Portugal, France, England, now Great Britain, and the Netherlands, continued declaration of war, mass denationalization, crime against humanity, apartheid, genocide, colonization, and occupation for over 200 years against our Moorish people, preventing our Moorish people from exercising our divine natural right to self-government and self-rule. Our people have been in a state of political disarray and lack of knowledge by the millions of our ancient knowledge of divine and natural law, our Moorish birthright, inherited lands in the state, our Moorish nationality and consanguinity, our Moorish names, our Moorish government titles, Bey, Il, Day, Al, and Ali, our Moorish national royal sovereignty headdresses and crowns, fez and turban, national flag, national Moorish flag, our national government seal, our ancient matrilineal and matriarchal principles, one of our native tongues, Arabic, one ancient science, our ancient sciences, the divine power of women and their natural rhythmic cycles governed by the moon, our ancient knowledge of the moon, Venus, and Sirius calendars, our Sirius calendars, planning through the knowledge of astronomy, natural plant medicine, and dietary laws based in nature, and our ancient culture, ceremonies, rituals based in our ancient knowledge of astronomy, nature, and divine law. Noble Ali, listen to me carefully here, just reiterating, Noble Ali, who was a direct descendant of the Moorish blood pedigree, Aboriginal, Native, and indigenous peoples to the land of North America, initiated the effort by establishing the Old Canaanite Temple in 1913 and at Newark, New Jersey, the Divine National Movement of North America in 1916, the Moorish Holy Temple Science as the Civic Organization in 1925, and the Moorish Science Temple of America under a religious affidavit in 1928 to foster the principles of self-determination and self-government to the defeated, conquered, subjugated, and denationalized Moors of North America. Noble Ali was well aware that the United States mass denationalization of our Moorish people and the classification of our people, Moorish people, as Black, Negro, colored in the United States Census Bureau was a declaration of war, a treaty violation, genocide, crime against humanity, apartheid. Also in 1928, Noble Ali represented us, the Moors, at the Pan American Conference. The United Republic of Morocco is a national assembly of nationalized Moors who have come together to caucus sessions with an aim and purpose to form a provisional government and a structured provisional constitution in preparation for the establishment of a permanent constitution and permanent government through the establishment of a national direct and populist election representing the principles of self-government and the nature of a republic. So, as I read earlier, and looking to facilitate the unity among the various Moorish body politics throughout our Moorish land. And that is what we have been facilitating and putting the energy out and the call out to bring about a central governing body to represent our people. And when I'm talking about our people, I mean our people in the true sense of the word, those who are even classified as Black, Negro, colored, African American, Indian, West Indian. I don't just mean nationalized Moors. And that's one of the weaknesses that I've seen with various nationalized Moorish body politics over the past 27 years, that there is no facilitation of reaching, or very little facilitation of reaching out to those who are unconscious. There is very little facilitation of assisting those who are unconscious, where we stay in our little group of 5 or 10 and we don't go beyond that. That's my observation, and we work looking to help to facilitate the change of that. Where we come out of our comfort zone of staying with our little intimate clique. We're too cliquish. We're too cliquish. As my observation, we're too cliquish. We have nationalized, I'm talking about nationalized Moors. There are nationalized Moors who are arrogant, who have this elitist, I'm better than you because I'm nationalized. You know, they stick their nose up. I'm better than you because I'm nationalized. Nah. I have witnessed that. So we must move out of that mentality. That mentality is one of the factors that have stagnated this movement. Because what it does, it keeps us like this. It doesn't allow that mentality of cliquish, I'm better than you because I'm nationalized, keeps us in this tunnel vision, small group of 5 or 10, and don't expand. We don't have a community mindset of reaching out to the community. We stay in our little, I've seen this. Watts, Norfolk, name it, where we reach out to the community 10-block radius. We in our little groups, so we have to facilitate that change. We have to facilitate that change. We're too myopic in our thinking. We're too self-righteous. We're arrogant. You know, we have that, tunnel vision mindset. We have that elitist mindset, and that doesn't. I mean, I don't know why that's the case. We just stay in our comfort zone. We just have to come out of our comfort zone and reach out to our people. All right, so continuing here. I'm going to executive order establishing
Yes.
All right. I don't want to, we want to read the excerpt of the executive order, then I want you to explain it. Right? Executive order establishing the Regional Ministry Council on behalf of all our indigenous. Yeah, it's too loud. All right. The executive order establishing the Regional Ministry Council on behalf of all our indigenous, Aboriginal, American, Indian Moorish affairs. Executive order establishing the Regional Ministry Council on Indigenous, Aboriginal, American, Indian Moorish affairs. By the authority vested in the Regional Ministry Council to her elected nobles of Indian Moors in order to promote and sustain prosperity and support, help, aid our kinsmen, sisters, and brothers of these diversity of native, indigenous, Aboriginal, autochthonous, American Indian Moorish governments throughout the Moroccan Empire and government realm in its dominion. It is hereby ordered as follows. Section 1 policy. The executive order recognizes a government-to-government relations as well as lawful decisions making based in jurisprudence and political relations with independent native, indigenous, Aboriginal, autochthonous nations, whether they be federally recognized or non-federally recognized tribes, bands, or political states in the treaty allied nations of Europe, Spain, Portugal, France, Netherlands, and England. We as the native, Aboriginal, autochthonous people have our inherited sovereign power and rights derived from our ancestral consanguinity, pedigree, and blood right claim in harmony with the principles of the great cosmic mother, divine law, natural law, our own religious and spiritual letters, creeds, epistles, and constitutions, which shall predetermine now determine our own sovereign inherited power as the blood lineage pedigree DNA descendants of our ancient ancestors that allowed the European crown the right to hold and use the land and water in their territorial jurisdiction. The relationship is set forth in the treaties made between the European crown and the native, indigenous, Aboriginal, autochthonous nations. The executive order first principle of authority is treaties of our own ancestors' political charter and international acts, Pan-American Union, international agreements, Organization of American States, United Nations Charter, Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous People. Secondly, the administrative rules and regulation. Thirdly, the domestic and international judicial decisions. Honoring these international relations and the sovereignty of native, indigenous, Aboriginal, autochthonous nations is critical to advancing native, indigenous, Aboriginal, autochthonous, inherited autonomy, power, and self-determination. All right. So it's imperative that we work on facilitating the unity of the various Moorish body politics. And speaking to several of the Moorish body politics throughout our land, they've been some who've been who are currently being organized as study groups, and then are forming into political organizations. They see the necessity of unity among the various politics. As single units, as single body politics, we're weak. We're weak. The goal is to reestablish diplomatic channels with the treaty nations, France, Spain, the Netherlands, Great Britain. And the reason why I say reestablish, because our ancestors established the relationship. But because we've had an amnesia for 200 years plus, we have to reestablish those relationships and ties that will give us the political clout to enforce the treaties and gain international recognition and protection for all our people. But as individual, little body politics, that can't be achieved. I have not seen, I've been involved for, I was speaking to illustrious Joaquin Bey, and I said to him that in 27 years, I have not seen an effort. I have not seen where there's been, I don't know what it looks like. And those who are listening to me don't know what it looks like. We've seen individual body politics, and we've had minimal success with little cases. But we want more than that. We want control of our land and resources. We want to address the mass imprisonment of our people. We want to address the mass homelessness of our people. We want to address the mass drug issues in our communities. We want to address the pollution of our air, the pollution of our water, 5G. We want to address those issues. And I know we've addressed traffic tickets, little foreclosure here and there, maybe 4 or 5 foreclosure when there's hundreds of thousands. And we're not really making a dent. I mean, we don't have political power. We haven't heard power. What do you mean, Abdul? We have no political power. Yes, we do. No. We have it, the political power is inherited. Yes, it is. I'm talking about exercising right now, today, this second. Bring the 5G towers down now. Tomorrow. Bring the 5G towers down tomorrow. Stop the chemtrails tomorrow. Stop the forced vaccination that they're about to do tomorrow. Oh, I didn't know you meant that, Abdullah. Oh, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Not, well, we got political power. We're just saying it. Demonstrate it. Demonstrate the political power. Hundreds of thousands of brothers and sisters in jail. Demonstrate the political power. How do we do that? How do we come to demonstrate the political power that is inherent in us? What needs to be done so we can just demonstrate that? We need our national unity among the various Moorish body politics, and to strengthen each Moorish body politic by furthering reaching out to their territorial domicile. So, continuing. As we work together to build a better government structure for a greater and brighter present and future for all Native, Indigenous, Aboriginal, Autochthonous, American, Indian Moors, we are not going to now ignore a history of mistreatment and destructive actions that have hurt the Native, Indigenous, Aboriginal, Autochthonous, American, Indian Moorish communities in Northwest, Southwest, and Mexican Africa, now known by the European treaty nations as North America, South America, Central America, and the adjoining islands known as Americana. The Regional Ministry Council seeks to restore and strengthen our own Native, Indigenous, Aboriginal, Autochthonous, American Indian Moors, and to strengthen kinsmanship bonds, communication, trade, and commerce among our own Moorish provincial governments. Our more recent history demonstrates that our own Moorish, Christian, Jewish states' self-determination pursuant to the 1856 treaty between Morocco and Great Britain confirms the ability of Native, Aboriginal, Indigenous, Autochthonous provincial governments to determine how to build and sustain our own communities, which is necessary for successful and prosperous communities. We, the Native, Indigenous, Aboriginal, and Autochthonous people now are taking the position to exercise our inherent sovereign power and self-determination to reclaim our Native, Indigenous, Aboriginal, Autochthonous Moorish land, as well as our estates and natural resources through our political legitimacy and national unity. The executive order establishes a national policy and commitment to assure that the European nations and the joint United States Republic engage in a true and lasting government-to-government relationship with the Crown's and inherent self-autonomy, political, Moorish, and Indian tribes, and the federally recognized tribes, as well as the non-federally recognized tribes, in a more coordinated and effective manner, including by better carrying our own civic responsibilities. These treaty obligations are established as a means of promoting and sustaining prosperous relations with Native, Indigenous, Aboriginal, Autochthonous communities. Greater engagement and meaningful consultation with Moorish and Indian tribes is of paramount importance in enforcing treaties befitting Moorish and Indian tribal relations. So, the effort needs to be made to reach out, continue to reach out to the various Moorish body politics and express the importance of our national unity. Juali, as I said, Juali's position was he had a task on his hands. You know, you're talking about a situation of mass, grave ignorance, apartheid. And I must say, Juali did a good job, you know, in unearthing, you know, that the dry bones in the valley. So he put flesh on us, told us that we're not Negro, color, black. So that's very important that we continue the legacy of Juali restoring to our consciousness the state of mind of our ancient foremothers and forefathers. And once again, Juali is not the starting point. And those in the temple, some will be upset with me because of the misconceptions, that's all. The only reason why they're upset is because they've been conditioned that Juali is the starting point. They've been conditioned to worship, to idolize Juali. So because I don't idolize Juali like they do, then there's something wrong with me. Because I don't idolize Juali, there's something wrong with me. There's some misconception on that. He's not the starting point. So we need the temples to get their act together and stop worshiping Juali. The worshiping Juali is misrepresenting Juali. So they're misrepresenting this movement. Civics is not part of most. You have just a small little bit, handful of more science temples who deal with civics. Civics is not the agenda of the current sheiks. It's the agenda of Juali, which means they're not following Juali's program. So it's the agenda of Juali. Juali's agenda was civics, base. But the sheiks and grand governors have not followed that path of civics. When someone talks about civics with a member of a grand sheik, grand governor, grand sheikus, they dismiss it by saying Juali didn't teach that. It's Juali didn't teach that. Juali didn't teach that. Juali didn't teach that. It's just, so which is not true at all. Juali established the Holy Moorish Temple of Science in 1925 as a civic association. And most people in the temple don't even know that. They don't even know that civics is a base part of this movement. Civics is the science of government, citizen and duties, rights. I mean, this is not part of the program. It's part of Juali's program. But those sheiks, grand governors, sheikesses are not following Juali. They've called Taj Civic Bey renegade. They're not following Juali. So I'm for unity. So my talking about the sheiks, grand governors, the leadership openly, I am not creating disunity. They are. Taj Civic Bey and I sent hundreds, hear me out, hundreds of people to the temples throughout the country. A lot of people we sent to the temples, call Taj right now, were mad at me and him. Why were they mad at me and Taj? And I thought about those who we sent to the temples who became mad at me and Taj. Why? Because they were treated by the sheiks, grand governors, and seekest the leadership of the temple with disdain. Why are you talking about that time to be fake stuff? Do I didn't teach that? Mistreated, treated with disdain, evil, hatred. So we're not for unity when we, Taj Big Bay and myself, sent hundreds to the Moore Science Temple. We're not for unity when we sent them there to support in order to have them be run away. This is why I've been openly discussing, talking about them. And I'm not going to stop. I'm not letting up at all. I'm not letting up. And nobody's going to make me let up on talking about them. So don't even have that conversation with me. The more you have that conversation with me, I'll continue to talk. I think they're COINTELPRO. COINTELPRO, counterintelligence. They've shown me that they're COINTELPRO. So because I'm openly, the reason I'm openly speaking in this way is to protect our people. So they have not been dealing with the issue of the people. So the leadership of the Moorish Science Temple have not been dealing with the civic issue that Drew Ali restored to our consciousness. So to protect what Drew Ali, the reason I'm speaking out like this against the leadership of the Moorish Science Temple is to protect what Drew Ali on earth. I'm standing for Drew Ali. I know that they're not. And I'm not fooled because they're grand sheiks, grand governors. I'm not fooled by that. I'm standing for Drew Ali. That's why I'm speaking out boldly and publicly against the leadership of the Moorish Science Temple. I'm speaking for Drew Ali and for our people. They are COINTELPRO. Take it over, Shem.
Yes, sir. I'm back. Actually, personal thing that came back first. I had to take care of it right away. I think with the Most High that Most High, Lord and Celestial, that Nobles had, that Minister Abdu was able to take it over. You know, this thing about popularity, you know, oh, I got 9,000 people. That don't mean nothing. You know, this is about the raw truth. What must be done, and do you know what to do? And we know what to do. You know, I let us see, love us, all of us back out there with our fishing boats, grabbing our own fish, kill fish, bringing our livestock, creating our own markets of commerce, our own platforms of trading, and then take it and do bartering, public offers and private placement to our own financial institutions. If we can put our own paper, depository paper, minerals, precious metals, and livestock, vegetables, agriculture into a depository, which is a freezer, barn, store home, and then use that on the open market with nations before we even transport it. We can sell it for just the value of the agriculture we produce. And then we can do the public office, we sell it in the public and keep the money within our system and within our communities. That way we can build our communities' economic and commerce up for development and construction and take care of their land more better and take care of our people. That's a beautiful thing to do, export, import internationally, to have your own elections and have your political organization come together, and then have the spiritual organizations worship and their piety and deity and be in harmony. There's nothing wrong with debating among each other about who's right, who's wrong. What makes it wrong is when you start trying to do violence and start to take and do harm to each other based on a record that was left years ago, ancient records that were left years ago, whether it's by a philosopher, whether it's by a liar, whether it's by a prophet or an apostle. The fact of the matter is, you know, if you have a debate or something, debate your brother, your sister on a matter, then come in peace. Break bread and go in peace and sell and do barter among each other. That's called regulating commerce and acting civics. And then come together among your people, your people that you chose, a congregation, which is a nation, and worship together, meditate, invoke together. You know, let your spirituals seers stand before you and tell you about the things you need to do to please the cosmos and also respect the laws of nature. So that's what it comes down to. That's the popularity is within inside of you. If you get 10 people agree on truth, I don't care if an ancient civilization or whatever years ago, but here's the truth. If a man take a lie or a false script or take even a structure that he put up and press the people, and 30,000, let's say 100,000 years go by, even those ancient and old, don't make it right. We'll make it right when it balances out with the cosmos and laws of nature. That makes it right. And you go back to say, my people, my ancient people, this is the piety and deity they had, and civics in that spirit, religion, spirituality. This is how they did among their people and manifested, took care of the earth, the water, the air. That's what it comes down to. You ask the average person, they say they're Moor. I said, what nation you from? You said, I'm a Moor, I'm an empire of record, but I'm still asking you what nation you from. So you can't give me a geographical location on the earth that your people dwell in, their commerce, their economics, agriculture. So you can't do that, so you still don't know where you at. You know who you are, but you don't know where you at. So let us help you. That's what we're here to do. Love, peace, freedom, liberty, truth, honor, and contract. Claim, inheritance, assemble together as a congregation, which is a nation. That's what y'all do out there. Don't take a whole lot of people. You could be, just your house right now, could be the only one woken, could be 10 people in your house. If you wake them, 10 people are knowledgeable, then they can come together and form what? Their own political national standing, government. Yes, they can, and they can help you toward how to do it. And the first thing is they invoke, to say what you are, to invoke where you at, the ancient territories of your ancestors, and then invoke in your mind and get in your mind to create a symbol for a seal. Then the next thing, create your own national flag. You listen to me. Go back into all these seminar tapes. Nobody's talking like me and Abdul's talking right now. He even admitted right now he wasn't even on this level because for nobody bringing the science and the information and the positive law like that. Now we're doing it. I don't care about no 30,000 people. Listen to me. If you listen and you taking it in, go pass it around. Let them know somebody out there, the cosmos sends somebody, a deliverer. The deliverance is coming for y'all. This is accepted. If you already established, like Abdul say, there's no need to quote Noble Drew and take him out of context. If you say you the more science temple, right? And I ask you, I'm a holy, the religious and spiritual, okay? I ain't got to do with no grand sheiks. Who's the seer? And how the religious structure set up. Then if it's set up, show me the ancient structure where it's set up after. Now let's go to civics, which is public social trust, dealing with diversity of people, dealing with diversity of ethics, principles, customs and rituals, ceremonies. Now let's come get the people together to create what? So they can barter and do the diplomacy and diplomatic things, government relations. Let them come and build a civics organization where they can protect their spiritual religious rights. See, this is what Abdul was talking about. The more science they have not been doing, they don't know what to do. And don't sit there and argue. I just said last week that I got to take my head off the Medicine Farrakhan because the platform and portfolio that he's on and the last statements he's been making from that platform, they hate you. You can't talk like that from up there. This man made a statement and told you, Farrakhan told you to stop spending your money with them, to come among yourself and do among yourself. And Farrakhan went far to say to put his life on the line and said, learn how to assemble among yourself and do your own elections. That damn man telling you what to do, you ain't listening to him either. Y'all gotta wake up. Let's stop playing. Let's stop playing. Let's give honor what honor's due. Minister Farrakhan's on the platform that they could try to knock his head off for talking like that. You can't be that high talking like that for people telling them what to do. So when I see that manifest in a man, I have to give him honor for that. And I honor him for that. So that's what we're doing. That's what he's talking, what we're doing to try to do. Let's do it. Let's not talk about, oh, Noble Drew. You're not doing what Noble Drew already did. See, let me tell you how y'all is. Y'all just like when Easter come, and he seen the Pharisees and Sadducees, that was the Israelites. They was trying to sit in the seat of the prophet Moses. They want the authority of the prophet Moses. He said the Pharisees and Sadducees desire to sit in the seat of Moses. See, y'all desire to sit in the seat of Noble Drew Ali, but you can't do that. You can't sit in the seat of Noble Drew Ali. He already did his job. He already came and he's gone. He transitioned. Now the Cosmo picked somebody to pick up what he was doing. And let's just do it. No, the Noble's right. Let's stop playing games in line. That's why I love the man. He ain't gonna barter for the truth. He ain't gonna barter for no fraud, no lie. He'd rather have the army standing. I'm not gonna do it. That's no, because he's standing his ground. That's a man that's inside of him is growing to perfect a perfect spirit. When he hears truth and see actions and works, he submits to it because he said, let me look back and see what these people doing it that consider to be this way. And he look, oh, they just like these people. So he gives them honor and respect. Let's start honor and respect our leaders, our jurists, jurist consultants when they're teaching us. You respect that college dean, that professor, that trickster. You love him? Let's go now. We can do this. Got the women getting involved now. Women getting involved, putting themselves on the line with affections. Now, come on now. The woman getting annoying because they said, damn, ain't too many men. They ain't even coming up with shit that really want to do anything. I'm scared to have a baby by these people, man. These men, they don't want to take care of their baby when it ain't me. It's the problem. We got to get it together. Listen, let me say something to you. Everything that happens in this mortal realm, in nature, is already pre-planned and written down and legislated in the cosmos. Do you think the cosmos, you can put something over in the cosmos when they're writing this times, events, seasons, dispensations? What are you doing? Are you crazy? Now you got some, and if you fear this man talking this stuff, let me tell you something about these people that's wants to tell people dealing with what is not right. They want to keep you in fear. See, the fear of fearing something is to come to the knowledge of submission. And that's what he's right. You know, sometimes people act out, and I learned this from him, they act out not because they're against you. They say things not because they mean it. They're saying things that at that time they fear. And the knowledge that you bring into them in a new way, they fear it. See, this system they know. So when they see you trying to take them somewhere that they're not prepared for, they can't do, they can't comprehend, they leech out at you with wrong sayings and say things and think things wrong against you. Got to have grace on them and patience and mercy. Ask for grace and mercy and charity. You got to have charity. We have to have charity because the cosmos have charity on us. All this stuff man doing wicked dying still let us grow food, still let us eat the livestock, still let us eat the herbs, give us different seasons, not letting the tornadoes kill us, the earthquake swallows up, not letting the sun get darkened with this disaster. See, you understand the cosmos that all this, give us all these benefits and we're not taking advantage, and we breathe in the air. which the evoke is inside of us, come from the cosmos. We breathe that don't even belong to us, but it's our existence. And we breathe in that and let us keep that. And look, we still not giving them honor, and we still not doing what the ancients did, ancient time. Our forefathers. Go back to your fathers and mothers to find out who they are, how their house operated, piety, deity, and then perform that. And watch how everything will be more smooth for us. Yeah, then you want to add no more?
No. But same with, we wanted to read the, we wanted to talk about the fire council.
Yes. Did you read it?
No, I didn't read that.
Okay, this is what we're talking about.
Come back. I didn't touch anything, bro.
Okay. Let me throw this in the trash. Got it in my hand. Yeah, I'm gonna wash my hands. Let me throw this in the trash.
All right. The great binding law, Gaya Ayashango Ma, dates from the origin of this document range from 1390 AD to 1500 AD. I am Daka Na Wada with the 5 nations, Confederate lords. I plant the tree of great peace. I plant it in your territory, Adu Dareth, and the Anadaka nation, in the territory of you who are fire keepers. I name the tree of the great long leaves. Under the shades of this tree of the great peace, we spread the soft, white, feathery down and globe thistles as seats for you. Adu Dara and your cousins, lords. All right. Where did the Abians get the phrase, with the laws of nature and nature's God? Where did that principle come from? That's in the Declaration of Independence. Where did that principle come from? The laws of nature and nature's God. Where did it get the eagle from? And what does that mean? The eagle, divine seeing, great insight, heightened sight. Where did it get these concepts from? You've seen here. You've seen that being expressed and giving honor to nature. So I just wanted to, that's why I stopped here, so we can see that there's what is at the foreground of what I'm reading. An honor of nature, a great respect and appreciation of nature. I didn't want that to go over people's head. That is just a bunch of words. It's an honor, respect for nature. Right? We'll add to that, Shem?
Yes. Now, in order to come together, you notice what happened there. These are independent nations. Hear me out. These Indian Moors. I want you to hear this. They are coming from a congregation, a body of people that's delegating, have civics, have government. Not only do they have civic and government, but they also coming from their deity and piety, which government is involved with. And they're coming from nations. They're not signing as I thought they signed as political nations, bodies that's delegating authority to someone to come as the Lord of that nation, come together and create the fire council. So me and Abdul is going back. We're going back to our ancestors So what they did then, we're going to do now, because that's what the United States did and admitted it in a resolution. I have it. Here, bring it up. That the Purple Heart, the Navy Cross, all these things that they got in their own constitutional democratic principle are after the European Confederacy. Now here it is using this, and we coming together arguing about, I ain't got this right now, I don't know what to do. We're going to help you what to do. Stop complaining. You're being helped. Come on now, you ain't just throw it out in deep water. Ain't nobody out there with a ship to help you. There's a ship to come back on. There's a life raft for you. Now grab the raft and come on the ship, the vessel. These are nations. The Moorish Empire got a structure set up of the days and the base of operating more as a state nations, separate nations, tribes inside the Moroccan Empire. Another thing, I'm gonna get it right away so they can see this. I want you to say, so they don't understand this. Like, we got a lot of stuff we will open up now. Now, this is the 1862 treaty. Tell them about the Ottoman Empire so they understand. No, I'm simply saying this treaty forced that Africa, Europe. Now this is done in 1862, right before Lincoln. This is done when Lincoln was in office. Do you hear me?
The Ottoman, the Ottawa, Ottoman is Germanized former Ottawa Empire. It's a house or dynasty or ruling family. And so that's what they call a kin's name, or what they call a family's name, Ottawa. And that was established in the 1100s and up to the 1800s, the Ottawa Empire. And so that dynasty reigned for 700 years. 700 years. Very powerful dynasty.
And they go to treaty of 18, this is the treaty of 1862. Now, bear in mind, right before the Civil War. So that, I want you to hear this, Moors. That means a Sultan still had power during the time of Abraham Lincoln going to be better. The Civil War. Yes, 1862. The crown had one in 1856. Now, what this means is that the Moors were still doing treaties with the United States. Now, watch this. Because I said it before, you heard me say it, that the Sultans, every Sultan family that takes over a house, it pitches on castle or mansion or state to dwell within the empire. Like some empires, some of the Sultan empire was here in North America. Some was in North America, South America, Mexico. Some was over there in Asia. Some was down in Africa. This one in 1862 had his house empire shifted there. So this goes to show you every Sultan that come in power don't be the same. This is why you hear about the Sultans in the Feds. That wasn't there where this was at now. So you see the difference? So when the Sultan's power dominions, all that authority that was in Europe, Africa, results back to the original Moors. But the thing about it, the Moors don't know who they are because they're so busy with going to war with each other. The indigenous people, the Iroquois fighting the Lenape Moors, they repented what they did to their brother. That was the reason why the United States ran them. Now, remember, this land is guaranteed. I want y'all to hear this. Please listen to me. The Gantt Treaty make it clear the Moorish land is guaranteed by the crowns. They just have what you call a zone, which is a political belt, a girdle. They wrap a girdle mean they got municipal law operating in the Moorish Empire. It's wrapped around the Moorish Empire. That's the girdle, the zone, the girdle. It is wrapped around the Moorish Empire, the Moorish land. And see, they know this and we don't know this. We're in our own land and we can't even come together because we be frightened, we worry about our pension, or we make up all these scenarios about all these other people and not thinking about what we can do. That's just the bottom line. Simple as that. Can't get no different than this. Me and Nobles read a treaty. Now listen to what I'm saying. I want y'all to hear this. The Moorish Empire is still in Europe. That never changed. The only thing that happened, they made a treaty with the United States. Now I want you to hear this. You need to read this treaty because this treaty says enforced in Europe. It's forced in Africa. It's forced in Asia. Now, so let me say a certain part. Now, listen, somebody say, "Oh man, no, we're talking about right here. This Africa too." Yeah. You didn't know that, did you? A Mexican is called Africa too. So when they say Africa, that wasn't just talking about that side. That little part of the area called Africa. Because during the time of the Sultans, they considered this over. They didn't consider it as America. They considered it as part of Africa to the Sultans. I woke you up with something, did you? They didn't consider it as America. That's why they didn't use the word America. They consider it as being Asia or part of Africa. That's how they get you. They're interchanging the word America. No, the Sultans consider this part of what even South America considered part of South Africa. Like Western Mexican rule, that's considered part of Mexican Africa. That's considered Africa. That's why Resolution 75 on 1935 in Pennsylvania, it's called this North Africa. So the Moors made a journey from North Africa into Philadelphia, into Pennsylvania. That's a statutory jurisdiction. Where's North Africa? Where's the Moors coming from and say they want to keep their name? You think the Moors came all the way from down here? You said they're African descent. You didn't call them Moors. See, let's forget that, everybody. You better catch this. 1935, Resolution 75. A lot of Moors know about that after resolution. It made it clear that the Moors traveled from listen to me, from Spain, from Africa, and now coming into Philadelphia and Pennsylvania and want to keep their name. They want to keep their name. The resolutions say that Moors have a right to keep their name. Watch this. And under the Moore-Sandra Act, North Carolina, the Republic understood that Moors were sovereign. That's why the Moore-Sandra Act said Moors not held by their laws. So if a Moor is operating in North America, that's Africa. That's the empire. It's the empire. The whole world was called Africa one time. Wake up. When the world together is called Cabilan, it was called Africa. The earth sat under the sun. It sat under the sun. But it's not no one piece of the earth sat under the sun. The whole earth. They played a game with you. You get somebody, oh, this ain't Africa. Okay, how old is the word America? Now, look, like Abdul said, they vouch shift. They claim with you through etymology, epistemology. That he's teaching you how they shift the verbs, the nouns, and how they change the consonants. He explained that formula in language. Come on, now he's telling you what they're doing. Now, once you know that, you say, oh, it's Africa too. Okay, yeah, this is Northwest Africa in the northern West Hemisphere. So when he said, when the Sultans say Africa, they talking about here too. So now we know. If you want to get me, Abdul, Jakeem, and me, Abdul, is put together for all us, what Abdul been doing is he been telling me. He's put after Abdul seen what Jakeem wrote down, he said, now I'm implicated. He's been telling everybody to do a study group. That's a congregation. You can't say you Moors are not hearing this more because it's being outlined for y'all. It's being outlined for y'all, Moors. Me and Nova's gonna take questions now. Over here, you got to say.
Yes. Questions?
This is great. Thank you, Brother Abdullah and Shia Malachi Bey, for this wonderful online webinar. We do understand that there are situations that will put us in a position where we are moving to where we will continue on with the movement. I've been monitoring the online chat in YouTube, and it's just been great. The comments and comments have been great as well. Not many questions, but yes, for clarification, it is the Great Law of Peace of the Iroquois, which is that is the name that was given to them, the modern name. The name that their self name is Hatanasi. So that is their name. So it's from the Great Law of Peace, of which Brother Abdullah was reading from. Also, it's the Ghent Treaty, of which Brother Shem was recently referencing, of the Ghent Treaty. That's spelled Ghent, Ghent Treaty. So now the name of the show for this evening is Interpolitical Governing Bodies. If you would, could we please get I know one of the question here is about how does what does that look like? How to form that? That's like one of the main questions that I'm seeing within the chat. The interpolitical governing bodies. What one must understand is Brother Abdullah and Shem showed that they're going back into our ancient foremothers or forefathers, where we had free will to create tribes throughout the land. And those tribes formed together nations, and those nations came together within the confederacy, which means to come together up under one banner, one flag, in unity. And that's what the United Republic of Morocco is seeking to do: bring all the Moors governing bodies together up under one flag, one constitution. The many constitutions within your nation, but up under one constitution for international commerce. So if you would, could you please elaborate on that? I know we have about 30 more minutes to go. I'm so excited about this. One would think that since our doors are closed, that the movement stopped. This shows that we open up many doors from other directions. So if you would, could you just go a little bit deeper on the interpolitical governing bodies? Thank you.
Well, see, the first thing is to get courage. You have to have courage. Well, you have to have the knowledge first to know. Then when you get that, you have to have courage. You have to have the ability to know that, just like you can go to a bar, you can go to a corner store and break up a conversation. You go to the rec center and break up a conversation, or you can sit right in the door and start conversating with people on the block. Your house, inside, within your house, within your family structure, within your kinsmanship structure. She is right there for you. You just can't be lazy and scared. It's right there. That's the first thing of government, is a house. This is how an emperor rules. He rules from a royal kinsmanship, a house, a chosen blood pedigree, or one that assert authority to get the people of the council behind him, who gets the military behind him. Then he goes out and conquer the people take their will from them by beating them into submission, fear. So you can see it starts with a house with a clever plan. Because his house wants to inherit all within the kingdom. He would have had the best wealth, the best charity, hands, service, men singers, jokes, agitated comics, called back then jokes. He was the best of the livestock, the algae culture. He want all the best of all the lands and states. And he wants to control the government, the military power, so that way, if he can keep them under his control, mentality, mind control, through what? The council, then he can control the people. And what we have to understand is that we have to come together and say, wait a minute, I just tell you, a lot of y'all sit here and talk together and meet each other, got swap phone numbers, and it's like 4 of y'all, you tell me that's not a congregation, that's a group. together, a group of people, associate together. Y'all come together and do a bind. Create a seal flag and create an instrument. This is a little private advisory council. If you just create a advisory constitution, this advisory council to govern y'all now, y'all can always amend it, y'all constitution, make it broader. It's an in-house problem we got. We can deal with that. Let's just claim a nation, a seal, and a flag, and get our behind together and do what we got to do. That's all we got to do.
Can you go more into the advisory constitution?
Well, the advisory constitution is put together by, it has a council. That means 4 people is a council right now. And what they do is they make the constitution, as it go along, the advisory council becomes the settler in the constitution. That means they become the grand body of that constitution. And what it is, it writes in there at any time, there could be add executive, a legislator, and a judiciary and administrative branch. And then it would say that when that happens, the grand council relinquishes all its authority and pass it, hand it down to the proper will of the people. Because when more people come, you got to give the people right to vote. So right now, I'm showing you how to do it. Now, if you don't have a political organization, and let's say it's 5 people that got there, just become a part of their political organization and sign under theirs for now. That's all we have to do. They elect you to an office, and who's going to see? The thing about it is, when it comes to the Isle of Africa, the Unity Res Republic of Morocco, when like this year called Confederacy, once the delegation send you up there, nobody from a foreign nation can tell you what to do. You were delegated with the authority to come up there. You carry that with you. Now, when you get there, y'all come together and form a parliament, a prime minister, a deputy prime minister, and you call what you call the executor, the judiciary. You do that through elections. So you go back and say, okay, we need to have some delegate people to go up there, operate for the judiciary as the judges. Then we need somebody to fill the ministry. That's called the administrator. Any ministry is appointed by the parliament and the prime minister. So they become the administrator branch because they're administrating the duties at the cabinet for these sovereign bodies. Like the judiciary, they have clerks and stuff. They're part of the administrator. But the delegation of power can't just come from you. You just can't sign and say, well, right now I've got none. Then you got to be a national. You just got to be a national and get naturalized, or become part of somebody else's political organization. I can bring nobles onto my Isle of Apostolic Republic because everybody that I had doing it jumped ship, and I couldn't get time to teach them. So right now I don't have anybody but one person. That's in Jamaica. So I got nobles. He can become part of my political organization called the Isle of Apostolic Republic. He'll tell you, I got the flag, I got the seal. I got what I need, but he can come right over here. It's not hard to do this thing.
Tamara, you have other questions, or do you have a question, Tamara?
Yes, I have a question.
That's why.
Yes, I have a question.
Okay.
Yes.
I know it.
Could you bring clarification to the creating of your own flag in your own constitution?
Tamara, your own flag is when y'all come together collectively and y'all start swapping ideas. Y'all start swiping ideas about what you would do. Thank you. You start swapping ideals. Y'all start like switching ideals, thoughts, and put it on paper and say, what do you think will be good for a flag? Then you go back and look at our ancient ancestors, how they use natural symbols and stuff. Like Israel used and Moab used the stars, the cosmos. The stars and the cosmos are things of nature. Thank you, Moses. I thought you had none of this.
Give it. Okay.
Thank you. He got that natural hand sanitizer. That stuff good. Ooh, yes, sir. That's the natural. Man, glad you got this. I only coming down. I got the sweater on and it's cold. So but yeah, camera. What you would do is like if y'all don't know what to do, me and Abdul will help you, be instruct you. We already got something engineered on paper anyway we want to get. But Tamara, the answer to your question is yeah, y'all come together. Like say you got hurt, you got yourself, and you got a lot of other people around you. You talk to y'all just swap ideals you think would be good for a flag, and then you create a seal. Like you would say, okay, here in Delaware, our ancient people use this in Delaware. Different things. You create your seal. You get somebody to draw it up, and you get somebody to color it, and you get a person to put in word and put the boss around. That's your boss and seal, your national seal for your government. Now you have your flag. So it's all about coming together, designing, talking among each other, just like you would talk about. I got a nice car, or you know this car's equipped with this, or you know what, you see that show came on last night, or you see how he was talking about this. It's like talking and engineering in your mind, engineering while you're talking, evoking what you can do, and everything will fall right in place with the seal and the flag. Now the Constitution can be done. I'm working on one now that I'll be done with probably within a week, and that will be used to next any that's going to be loaded with letters of rights and everything. Now it won't be big as the international constitution, but it will be a constitution breaking down the powers and giving you a seat. You'll have standing, and it will be about maybe like 9 pages. But I'm working on that. Now I haven't told anybody yet, so I'm working on that. I know Abdul, I told Abdul I was doing that, but I didn't want to say that to nobody. But it's going to be used for all the Moors. The graph for basic government, for Moorish government. It's going to body your religious, spiritual rights, your rights to search and seizure, dealing with your own military police, dealing with different Moorish government. I have that in there. That'll be done next week.
Okay, so yes, once we open up for clarification, that's when everything jump out of the bushes. So let's go ahead and clean the hedges up. And yes. When I say clear the hedges up, I think we must settle our minds and think in terms of our ancient foremothers and forefathers. So let's go back to the point of not colonization, but the point of someone arriving on shores to your land. When that occurred, you had already had government to government within the land occurring. The Moors were already in control of certain things such as the Silk Roads and things of that nature, of commerce and trade. We were the pioneers of that, the creators of that. So trade and commerce is not new to us. It's within our cosmic energy. So we must think in terms of a house, a family, and the creation of your own signage that identify your nation, your family state. You're not your family, but that, because we know that means servant, your kinship, your state that has been formed. In the Constitution is the rules, guidelines, agreements that you will go by within that. Now, if 10 of us, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 decide to get together and come up under one banner, that is uniting. We are uniting up under a banner. Now, does that take away from the Moorish Science Temple of America? No, because they are also a part of this state, a nation state that has been formed. You can always go up under those guidelines and things of that nature. So does that take away from Moorish Science Temple of America? So, right. So with that, I'm just looking at some of the comments and just trying to make this a little bit more clear. It does not take away from the Moorish Science Temple, because that is a ecclesiastical body nation that you can go up under as well. You have free will to form within your own society, your own governing guidelines for commerce and trade. You can do that as well. But what tonight's presentation is about, the interpolitical governing bodies coming together up under one flag. Does that change the flag of the red field flag with the green point? No, we have that flag, the Moorish flag, that we wave as well, because that's the flag, that's the field flag. That's the field where we take that and we put it into the international arena for its recognition to be able to stand on the treaties. So I hope I'm able to help sum that up based off some of the comments, because if I went into a lot of the comments, I don't think we have enough time for tonight. We have enough time for tonight.
Yes, you're right, and the reason why, because see, the national, when we come together, whoever's ready, I'll say, because right now we don't have enough people to claim a political organization through a convention. But what we can do is we have enough conscious Moors that claim a political organization and sign the letter of political legitimacy in the executive order, so we can have the turn the Indian country, take it to the Aboriginal Indigenous Bureau, so we can get the stamp, so we can come back. And hear me out. So we can come back now, and the nations that signed that letter, we can go ahead now and get ready to operate. All the heads of the nations that are ready, we can create, like Joachim said, imperial council. Because right now we can do that. At least we can create that imperial council, and we can operate through that imperial council and have other ones come in as later come on when they become more mature. Because a lot of people are scared to come under this, but they think they're going to be locked up, assassinated, pension taken, 401k, go and get fired. Now this is facing our people now there. So you said it right. So she said, like, we're going back to, in other words, Tamara's saying, if your mother pushed you out and you got a father, that's a structure. And the child is coming into a system that's to a structure and a system that's already set up by their mother and father, and they forefather and mother that they handed down to them as a legacy, as pedigree, to blood lineage. When you think that way, you can put together government. You're doing it now when you marry your woman, your wife, and she have your babies, and you structure the system, you structure the structure around them, and you let them get involved with a system that's of that structure. So the reason why a lot of Moors ain't doing nothing, because I'm not going to tell a Moor that got a body of civics that's helping their people and nationalize their people. What I will tell them is, you don't have no manhood standing now, because you can't even use your own passports, your own ID. You're not recognized. And nobody can, and the powers that's even signing treaties don't acknowledge you as nobody until you get it right. Until you say, hey, wait a minute, let me give it the other Moors political organization, governments, and let's come under that flag, and let's go ahead and start getting ourselves come together as a body of Moorish governments, where we more stronger and have that central body to distribute our passports if we need them. But our regular IDs and that stuff, we can get that from our own domicile. But when it comes to anything international, we get the passport from them and travel with our own ID, local ID. So you're right, Tamara, that's where it starts at. Structure it to a house.
Okay. For clarification, could you clarify once again your own nation flag, joining with the interpolitical flag, and connecting with the flag of sovereignty, which is our Moorish flag?
Okay, let me use myself. Okay, before I got back with Abdul, I created the my political government nation was the hour of Apostolic Republic. The reason why it was the hour of the Apostolic Republic, because me and my group, my congregation that was with us, we were of the apostolic faith, and we were the apostolic piety and deity. Now, in there, we had to set up administrative government, a judicial government set up in there. Within there, we had a regional council and we had a privacy council, and we had a spiritual overseer. So we had government sliced in two spaces. But what I was told by my seer, that you need more than that. You're going to need other. You're going to need help. Other Moorish body governments coming to unite with you. So what I did was I created me a flag. I created me my own seal. Well, I had some help with it, create the seal, and I created a flag, and then I did a constitution. When I did a constitution, what I did was I sent it up to the head government body, and I got a response from the Department of the United Nations Department of International Affairs, sending me a reference number, stating that they acknowledged and received what I sent, but they couldn't put it into the international depository until I complied with the procedure of the proper protocol to go through to be recognized as a new state. Then when I find that out, then I seen that's how that Noble Drew Ali was special, because you just can't do that. They got to be placed upon you by the cosmos, even have that direction, the longitude, latitude, to travel in that direction to get there. Once I realized that we need, in order, I know that my flag was being of a Hebrew Charadine Israelite, a part of Moab, which is the brothers and sister family. So once I knew that, I knew they was Moors, and I knew that the name was changed to Indian. So what I did was I said, listen, that empire flag is very important. Then I got the revelation that flag is not being used right. That flag, the empire flag, is supposed to be used by a host of Moroccan nations, governments, operating in the south, northwest, southwest, east, south, east central, and east north Africa. You call it a Mexim, or you can call it Asia, and an empire under a political territorial jurisdiction. Once I realized that, I say, whoa, I have to tell them that this is how you're supposed to do this. And before I ran back into Abdul, I have people that even started to say they want to get with me. And I asked them to say, well, dude, what political organization are you coming from? Or not that, what spiritual society are you going to sign under? Or temple, like more science temple. So you can do that because you can sign under that. That's a political structure of civics and religious spiritual. Now, when I start seeing people that didn't want to do that, well, I just signed myself. So you can't do that. That's not how ancient law was. So I don't know, but that's a principle that's not on sound of jurisprudence and positive law. So anybody I run into, they always talking about us. We gonna do this. We gonna do this. Nah, I said that's not right. You're not trying to create a political organization for your domicile territory and region. I said that's not right. That's not sound principle. So I had to back up and the spirit led me away from them. And I was prophesied to me by my spiritual, my seer, told me that a man was going to come to you to transition you to the other place because you stuck. And you wasn't going to do nothing until you get to the people to help you out. Now, I knew what he was talking about. Here come Abdul now. Here come Abdul. To understand this principle of ancient law, like Abdul said, you have to look back to plan for the future and set that for now. He understands this principle. And that's the only way we're going to verify what we're doing is by our actions and our works based on the example of our ancient ancestors and forefathers and foremothers. Go ahead, Tamara, you got it.
Well, Shem, our time is almost about up. I would like to thank you very much for this wonderful lecture we had tonight. I know Brother Abdullah had to step away for a moment.
He's here. He's right here.
He here. Do he have some final words? Hi, Brother Abdullah. First, we like to say happy solar return to you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciate that. Yes.
Happy solar. I would sing, but I don't know if one would like my singing voice.
I'm 5+2, 52, 7, right? 7 years old.
You're 7. You're 7. Hey, great number. So, you know, great number, 7. A lot of great things from being 7.
Hey, Tamara, was
So
that?
do you have any final?
I was asking Tamara, was that sufficient enough for you as of now?
Well, hey, it's not just me. There's 203 people that are live, and we have more that been shared on Facebook. But thank you. I need it as well. It was very helpful to understand that, because in its understanding, I went back and looked at the Iroquois Confederate Constitution, and I, because I fell in love. Y'all know I fell in love with that thing, and and I went back and saw that the signing of the Confederacy was in the embodiment of nation representative delegates. So then I went and looked at the comparative analysis between the different various 13 corporations that were formed and operating. And in any operation, they realized they had to tighten their fists and come together under unity, which is called the United States of America, which is a hypothecation of the original organic United Confederacy. So, and when you look at that, they sent delegates from each of those different nation states, sovereign states that they had formed through the colonies, from the royal charters they was giving, they sent the delegates. So even when you see Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, Hancock, and those names, they were actually delegates of the different body states. So thank you for attaching that wisdom of knowledge to understanding that we must come together as a nation body state to be able to sign under one political constitution for international recognition, to be able to attach to our sovereignty, our Moorish sovereignty. So that's understood for myself, for me. Maybe it may take some others to go to sleep, wake up, and may get it. But so in my reading, I had to go back. I had to, what's the bird called? The ibis bird?
Yes.
The bird that looked back? Yes. So I had to look back. I had to look back at some things. I had to research some things because I was up in the middle of the night kind of warring with that. So with that being said, as you come up under the caucus, that as a various varying bodies, that within itself activates the Moorish Emperor Divan and fill the seats that are being hypothecated by the words governor. The bays will be the bay once again. So it is 9:49. I have said my 5 cents. And Brother Abdullah, Shem, do you have any final words before we go ahead and wrap this up for tonight? I know we have a wonderful law class tomorrow for 4 hours that you gentlemen have to get ready for. So do you have any final words for tonight?
Well, my book, the Illuminati book, is back on the market after 3.5 years. I know you have a picture of it. I went upstairs. Yeah, the Illuminati book, Illuminati and Illumination of the Mind, is back on the market. You have 30 color pages and 32 black and white pages. And you can go to mooresandmasonry.org to get that book, along with the others, Moors and Masonry, Masonic Conference Square, How Moon and Venus Moves. So that's that back on the market. Tamara has it. She'll have it on the screen, right? The Illuminati, Illumination of the Mind. Well, right. So that's we have, of course, we have the class tomorrow, law class tomorrow, the 5th class, tomorrow. And also we're gonna be gonna have an etymology course. It's set June 19th to July 29th, 7 weeks of etymology. I'm gonna do 7 weeks of grammar. And now, so we have the law course is over, we have a 3-week break, and we go right into the etymology course. And then we're also be doing a 10-week contract law course in the fall. Right? So, so I don't have anything else to say. Just wanted to make those.
Well, thank you. Thank you, brothers. Thank you for taking this time to come out during this evening and spend some time with us. And before you go, I'm going to go ahead and mute your mic and we're going to move on. What we like to do, we'd like to thank you for tuning in to House of Reawakening Minds. Even though our building may be closed, the movement continues. We definitely will continue that. And we also like to thank you for your contribution that was given on tonight's lecture. But what we'd like to do is also invite you, and please join us on a blog talk, which is United Republic of Morocco, every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have some upcoming events we would like to share with you. We have a 2-day Grand Slam with Grand Sheik Taj Tariq Bey on April the 16th. We have him on Blog Talk Radio. So we'll post that information on the various social sites, such as House of Reawakening Minds Facebook page, as well as Abdullah Bay Facebook page and all the other Facebook pages as well. We will post that information. But on April the 16th, we have Grand Sheik Taj Tariq Bey on Blog Talk Radio. On April the 17th, on the next day, we will have him again on House of Reawakening Mind. He will bring information that is needed for us to continue to awaken and liberate ourselves. But before we go, we have an exciting opportunity, an invitation we would like to extend. We have a 5-week astrology class starting every Sunday, April the 19th with Hassan Ghazil Bey. So what I'm going to do is allow Hassan to go ahead and give us more detailed information about that.
All righty, y'all. Here we go. So peaceful greetings, Islam, Islam, Islam. I am Brother Hassan Ghazil Bey here in Morocco at Northwest of Maxim. It is a 5-week astrology course. Of course, it's the Astrology 101 workshop. Let's cut to the chase. It is 27 notes in lieu of lawful money for the eleemosynary tuition for you guys to attend. So it's 27 notes per week. So that's a total of 135 notes total for that. And you guys are going to be going into an introductory, week 1, you're going to get into an introductory. Weeks 2, 3, and 5, it's like planets, aspects, glyphs, houses, oh my, and then in the 5th week, I'm going to go into practical usage. I like utility when it comes to astrology, practical utility. And that is being able to actually take the astrology, the astronomy and the astrology, and immediately use it for yourself and for your family. All righty. So, and the good thing about these type classes is kind of like a pay-per-view type thing. So, you got, one computer going on and you got your whole family there, learning astrology or whatever, what I mean? So you guys come on out and like I said, it's 27 notes you guys can transact. Really want you guys to transact Wednesdays, alrighty, at the latest. Before class, you will receive, classes are being held. I saw somebody in the chat just real quick, Mother Tamara and Brother Abdul and Brother Shem. Somebody was like, where are the classes happening? So they're going to happen, the classes are going to happen on Zoom. So on Saturdays for the astrology classes, you will receive the Zoom meeting ID and the password on Saturdays for those that, give their gift of their eleemosynary tuition. You'll receive it through the email with the other things that you receive also when you actually transact for class. So let me get me out the way so you guys can see that there. All righty. Move that ticker and logo. All righty. So you guys can see every Sunday until May 17, 2020, commencing Sunday, April 19th, 2020 at 11:25 a.m. to 4 p.m. Where Zoom conference meeting room online via internet, elementary tuition, 27 notes in lieu of lawful money. Cash App, the Caduceus symbol, which call it $, our astrology street. Alrighty, that's the cash.me also, if it allows you to utilize that. But 9 times out of 10, you'll need Cash App. Western Union for those across seas, that's possible as well. We'll just speak about that personally. You can call 443-376-8764 or email myastrologystreet@gmail.com. Student seat reservations, only 300 seats available. All righty, and Mother Tamara is recording the classes for those that can't make it. So, those that are asking, like, we was asked the other day, hey, I'm working during those times or whatever. So will the classes be archived or whatever? So yeah, if you transacted, your elementary tuition, it'll be so that you'll be able to have that. And it's only exclusive to those that actually transacted for the class. So I'm complete with pontificating about on my soapbox. Namaste. Islam, Islam, Islam. Peace and love.
Thank you, Brother Hassan. Thank you very much. Once again, we like to thank you for tuning in to House of Reawakening Mind. As you can see, we have the information for Brother Abdullah El Talib Mosey Bey. If you're interested in purchasing his books online, Illuminati and Illumination of the Mind, Moors and Masonry, Masonic Compass and Square, and how her Venus and Moon rules, as well as Brother Abdullah Bey still have newspapers that are free. You would just have to transact for the cost of the shipping, which is 10 notes. I'm sorry, 20 notes, because it's a 200 within them. So it'll be 20 notes. You can email Brother Abdullah at etymologyvocabulary@gmail.com. Also, you can follow Brother Abdullah Bey at Abdullah Bey, as well as at Morris Silver Letter 2. So once again, we would like to thank you for coming out and tuning in to House of Reawakening Minds.